January, and during this time I've asked many questions publicly and gotten very shocking responses from the board and the administration. I've been told no repeatedly to reasonable requests. I've been told you're new. I've been told you don't need to know. I've been told I don't know and I don't want to, or I know but I don't want to tell you from an administrator. I've been told that my questioning makes the district look bad, that I'm an embarrassment to this board, that I insult the administration when I question them, and that our job is to serve the administration. I've been forced to FOIA information that should be given to me readily, and I've been amazed at the lack of concern about that by the majority of this board. Given this behavior, I decided to really take a look at the board bylaws. In fact, I asked in the beginning of last year if we were going to have a meeting to discuss our board philosophy and our board duties. That was one of the times I was told no, despite my request as a new board member wanting to do so. So completely naively, I proceeded forward, assuming that the behavior that was occurring all year by board members and administration was per our bylaws. Well, let me tell you, it is not, and not at all. I have prepared a PowerPoint tonight to show the public, my fellow board members, and the administration the bylaws that I speak of tonight. I know you will see. I know after what you will see. After what you will see tonight, much of the behavior must change as we review these tonight. For the record, these are screenshots of the board policy that's online. It isn't a pretty PowerPoint at all, but it is direct from the district website. So the first slide is board powers, and this is what we are charged to do as a board, why we are elected, and our responsibility. And it's a lot of words there. It basically just shows what we're supposed to be doing. Educating students is A, providing for the safety and welfare of students is B, acquiring, constructing, maintaining, repairing, renovating, disposing of, or conveying school property, facilities, equipment, technology, and furnishings is C. And then hiring, contracting for, scheduling, supervising is D. And I'll get into it deeper in a minute. Receiving, accounting for, investing, and expending district money is E. So a close-up of C, D, and E, again, a screenshot just widened. I'd like to talk about what is on slide, what letter D says. It says hiring, that we are in control of and supposed to oversee hiring, contracting for, scheduling, supervising, terminating employees, independent contractors, and others to carry out district powers. So my question is, if this is the case, Blue Book employees not coming to the board for approval is in direct violation of our bylaws. In fact, when asked, I've been told by the superintendent that they are not in a large bargaining group, so they don't need board approval. This is wrong. It clearly says hiring. It does not discriminate the type of hire. Therefore, the invisible, speckled throughout, under the radar, hiring and promoting under the category of Blue Book must stop. It is a complete violation of our bylaws. Next slide, 3. Philosophy of the board goes through, again, it's a lot of stuff, but it goes through what we stand for and how we need to communicate our role with the public. And what I want to highlight is letter A there. It says maintain a two-way communication with the citizens. The board shall keep them informed of the progress and problems of the school district, and the citizens shall be urged to bring their aspirations and concerns to the district about the district to the attention of this body. So the board shall keep the citizens informed of the progress and problems. So we should be talking about the issues that we need to improve. That is our charge. This notion that I am an awful board member because I bring up items that aren't going well with the school district, like the school-wide behavior issues, or that our budgeting isn't following the board bylaws, it is the right thing for me to do. We all as a board need to do more of it. It's called oversight, and it is our responsibility. And the citizens shall be urged to bring their aspirations and concerns about the district forward. So citizens and parents, please come forward to us if you've exhausted the chain of command at your building or during your situation. Board, I ask that we take these concerns that are brought to us publicly very seriously. I'm concerned that the number of citizens who speak is counted, and the number of times they come that they come is a reason not to listen to them. We only heard from a few parents, I hear. like that is a bad thing. When a parent takes the time and energy to come to a board meeting, it's a big deal that they came. So far, I've seen parent concerns about bond issue expenditure decisions and the transfer of a principal being ignored with complete arrogance. We didn't even discuss their opinions as a board. They made the comment, and that was that. I propose that we add a follow-up discussion to every board meeting regarding the parent-citizen concern brought to us at the meeting before. This should be our standard practice. We owe them the respect to have a public discussion about their issue. The next one is our authority. So we have board authority. There's so bylaw 0143 talks about the powers that reside in the board. It does talk that we act as a board of vote, the 7 of us vote, and we act as a board together. However, a very important piece of this one is that no board member shall be denied documents or information to which he or she is legally entitled and which are required in the performance of his or her duties as a board member. So, since as board members we are responsible for receiving, accounting for, investing, and expending district money as per policy 0122, board powers, it is in complete violation of the bylaws to be told by the finance director that he would not give me the primary count numbers when asked in September. It was in violation to be told that after count day, he would not tell me the number he turned into the state until it was verified by the state. It's in complete violation of bylaws to receive an email from the finance director after a board meeting when I asked to see the rest of the accounting of the Blue Book employees, and I was told, quote, I was left with the impression from Thursday's board meeting not to provide any additional information on the subject. The board as a whole does not decide what information an individual member receives. The fact that the majority is acting like they have the power to deny an individual board member information is wrong, and it must stop now. It is a complete violation of bylaws to have a superintendent tell you he feels that his role is to protect his administration from the board. That is wrong. The superintendent cannot direct an employee not to provide information. That is a clear violation of bylaws and must stop now. Though indirect, it is a complete violation of the bylaws to provide information to a board member in a format purposely designed to overwhelm and frustrate the issue. When I requested and was denied the count information, which we now know is a violation, I FOIA'd it, which is the Freedom of Information Act, and the district invoked the 10-day extension, which they can, and then when I received it, it was 2,765 pages long. 5.5 reams of paper. That was a ridiculous stunt, and this type of behavior must stop per the bylaws. All right, so powers of the president. Looking through this, I looked all through the bylaws to find out what power the president had. And I found 4 places it was mentioned, and if there's more, please share it at the next board meeting. But the president presides at board meetings, which is there. A second thing that the president does is the individual board members may include items on the agenda upon the concurrence of the board president. So the board president definitely has the power to not allow items on the agenda. I'm not sure why they would ever deny a request like that, but it was done to me. But they clearly have the power to do that. So that is a board president power. A slide, I did not find this on the slide because the bylaws are long and it took me a while to do this. But under public expression of the board members, bylaw 0143.1, the board president functions as an official spokesperson of the board to local media and state officials. So that is a power of the board president. And lastly, the board president may call a special meeting, but also 2 members of the board may call a special meeting, provided there is compliance with notice provisions of these bylaws. So after that, I don't see any other powers in the bylaws. I don't see that a president has the power to overrule an information request by an individual board member. That is a bylaw violation. I don't see that the president can say he will be advising the superintendent to disregard a special meeting request by 2 or more board members. That is a bylaw violation. I did get an email saying that that was going to be done. It was a different outcome tonight at the board meeting, but it was attempted. I don't see that the president can make a bylaw that does not need a vote and make it a voting issue. Like tonight, this discussion is trying to become a vote. It's not a vote. 2 people get to call the meeting, and we did. Given the behavior of last year's president and the behavior of the new president for the 2 weeks in this role, I believe that the actual powers of the president have been greatly exaggerated. Now that we are clear on them, future behavior can be adjusted accordingly. All right. So, special meetings. I, along with board member Piggott and Torres, have called a special meeting on February 2nd, the second Thursday of every month at 6:30. The first one is next week, February 8th at 6:30. We have requested a location for the meeting and for it to be videotaped and posted on our website. The topic will be our budget for 2018-19. That was in the original email that would be the topic. We have a projected student loss of 300 students per the superintendent, a stagnant fund balance, and decisions to be considered about cutting services as far away from the classroom as possible. Member Piggott, Torres, and I would like to start these discussions and lead them as a board. This is a responsible request, and the fight against doing this by the majority of the board is shocking. And the directing of Keith by our president in an email to disregard our request and the attempt to make it a vote issue is wrong and is in violation of the board bylaws. I know that was changed today by your actual behavior, but it was in an email that was sent to us. And if I wouldn't have checked the bylaws, I would have believed it. We will be proceeding on with the meeting on February 8th, and both Keith and Megan have been given full notice to make the appropriate arrangements for location and videotaping and to make the proper announcement on our website per the bylaws. All right. So let's see this one. All right. So I have let's see, 2 points regarding the bylaws. Nowhere does it say study session, and I think we're interchanging the word study session and special meeting and making our own topic, and it's not on there, so it is an obscure concept. I'm not sure where it occurred, but it isn't pursuant of the bylaws. We don't have something called a study session. We have something called a special meeting. In the past, the study session meetings were used to discuss important issues off camera and was attempted last summer during the transportation privatization debacle. We, member Piggott and Torres and myself, propose that we have a second Thursday of each month designated to handle these off-regular meeting agenda topics. If our regular meeting schedule accommodates the topics we need to discuss with full vetting, that we truly have a discussion, then we would not need the special meetings. However, knowing this is an option, we can keep our calendars clear. And then Robert's Rules of Order. We are designated by Bylaw 0161 parliamentary authority to use Robert's Rules of Order. So if you look at this, I had to look it up to remember the definition. And if you look at it, let's see, the second one down, what is it? It is a set of rules for conduct at meetings that allows everyone to be heard and to make decisions without confusion. So it allows for everyone to be heard. So during the last meeting, when I was cut off during my questioning of the budget by the president, that was a violation of Robert's Rules of Order and our bylaws. Simply wouldn't let me continue my questioning. During the questioning of any presentation to the board, each board member gets to ask as many questions as they would like, period. The president does not have the power to stop that. That horrendous violation of Robert's Rules of Order should never occur again. And administrative participation. So it says, this one was really interesting to me. So it says the superintendent and those administrators directed by the superintendent shall attend all meetings when feasible. The administrative participation shall be by professional counsel, guidance, and recommendation as distinct from deliberation, debate, and voting of the board. So again, really interesting. So the administrative participation shall be by professional counsel, guidance, and recommendation. So this says to me that they're at our meetings to answer our questions as we engage in our oversight process. However, when I asked questions this year about anything that item that was presented to us on the agenda, my questions were answered with disrespect and disdain. It is as if it is believed that you are not accountable to answer our questions. It is as if you believe what Keith erroneously tells you, that it is his job to protect you from the board. Our own president told us last week that we are lucky to have you here, and Member Torres correctly stated afterwards that it is your job to be here to answer our questions and provide counsel, guidance, and recommendation. So and then the next part is, as distinct from deliberation, debate, and voting of board members. Unfortunately, I've been debated about whether I should have information that I asked for. I assume after this bylaw review, as a board, we should expect to be fully prepared and engaged in questioning about all topics on the agenda, and we should expect you to answer any and all questions posed to you, and do so without debate. I know that was really long, but there were a lot of violations. I kept going through and going, oh my gosh, we don't do that. Oh my gosh, we don't do that. So that was a lot to go over. So in summary, we are responsible for all hiring, and those instances of Blue Book need to be brought in front of the board starting immediately. No more secret Blue Book hiring and promotion. We should have follow-up and discussions at the following board meeting regarding parent concerns brought to the board. Let the parents and the public know that we've heard them and what our conclusion was about their concern. Any information request by the board shall not be denied pursuant of our board bylaws. Our board president must keep his limited powers in mind and not overstep his authority. And we need to properly publish the special meetings schedule for the second Thursday of each month at 6:30 with a location and videotaping per board bylaws. We need to follow rules of order properly, and we need to have the administration change their mindset and be prepared to fully answer and respectfully respond to board questions and inquiries. I am looking forward to future meetings free of any board bylaw violations.
Thank you. Mr. Piggott,
Oh, God, yes.
thank you. I just want to touch on just a few things that were said. The first year of Ms. Barghahn's here on the board, there were many moments where I disagreed with her. But I would tell her in a one-on-one conversation, that I disagreed. Every single person on this board in my 7 years, I've disagreed with at one point or another on something. But I've never attacked them personally. I've never, what I thought stepped out of bounds. I hope not. I try to do it professionally, respectfully, and then move on. In her case, there have been some instances where she has been attacked personally in emails about her prior time being here in Waterford, and that's unacceptable. And so what I'm hoping is we move forward. I'm sure her presentation tonight is going to get a little people not so happy. I'm hoping that we will move forward as a board. I was not real happy 2 weeks ago, but I'm trying to move forward. I will do what I was told. I'll be a little more vocal at meetings, but I'll still try to do it respectfully. And at the end of the meeting, if any one of these board members, even if I disagreed with them all night long, if I saw that they had a flat tire outside, I'd help them change it. So I hope that no matter what, this year we move forward, we move along, and despite if we disagree with something a member says, whatever, let it go. We don't have to argue and attack personally. If they feel that's some information they want to know, let them know. beyond that, that's all I'll touch on. One more I do want to touch on is probably many of you know today, it's all over the media, there was an active shooter situation out on Dixie Highway in Waterford this afternoon. A couple of our schools went on lockdown. For me, my daughter was at Kettering, and I got a text from her when it was happening, and kids were scared, very scared. I saw some pictures after the fact that kids had sent their parents and that they had followed, the kids and the staff, the complete proper protocol if something like that should ever happen. And first and foremost, the active shooter never got close. It was out on Dixie, but we still did a lockdown, and I give a lot of credit to our district, the school, whatever, for taking that precaution and doing that. But as a board member, and more importantly as a dad, I want to publicly thank the employees of Kettering who were there with my daughter, who her and some of her friends I talked to said acted in the utmost professionalism. Their main concern was keeping kids safe, getting doors locked, doing everything that they should to make it a secure building. I saw some comments from some parents on social media that they were upset that they weren't notified quicker. And my response was, take care of the school, lock it down, make sure the kids are safe first and foremost, and they'll contact parents later. So, you know, from me to every one of those people at Kettering, I thank them publicly. From what I hear, they did a phenomenal, amazing job in a very, very, very scary situation, not only for the kids, but for them as well. You know, none of us are ready for something like that when it happens. So I just give my kudos to all of them and thank them for what they did today and keeping things safe, keeping things under control, and watching over our kids. Thank you.
John Paul? A couple of things. I wish Heather was here tonight because the Youth Coalition movie night is coming up.